That snaps for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff, but
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
That's a good question.
Brandon,
Yeah,
you want one quick question?
we can't ask Rashad questions.
Okay,
Like
Rashad.
that as well. Okay, baby, bet. Next thing up, we got is this gonna pull up? I just clicked it. Hold on now. All right, cool. Next thing up, we got Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Young Vlad Jr. Man, he signed $500 million, bro, before hitting free agency. Now, for those of you who don't know, Vlad Jr. not even hitting 300, bro. This man hitting 256. But what did he hit last year? I have to put this out. I don't know a thing about this is daddy. I don't know a thing about no baseball from anything probably like when the Braves won the World Series 2021. I know nothing about baseball since 2021. I'll put that out there. Just as before we get baseball people, oh, this guy don't know what he's talking about. I don't. Okay, cool. So as you see, he was an all-star the last 4 years. Let me see his hitting percentage, though. Okay. High slow percentage. Okay. All right. 48 home runs, 32, 26, 30. Where we at? There we go. Now I'm trying to look for his average. Okay, here we go. Where's the regular? They got all these advanced statistics. Where's the regular batting average is what I'm trying to see. That's all I'm trying to find out. Hold on, y'all. See, this why I gave my disclaimer beforehand. See, now you know. What is even his career batting average? Excuse me. His career batting average is so you don't even hit 300. 287, 160 home runs. That's pretty good. 160 career home runs. But 500 million, bro. Oh my gosh. Yeah. But I guess we are going to read here from RJ Anderson why he got 500 million before he even became a free agent. Shout out to RJ, shout out to CBS Sports. Let's get into it. The Blue Jays have reportedly agreed to a long-term extension with first baseman Vladimir Guerrero Jr. that ought to keep him in Toronto for the rest of his career. Oh my gosh, the 14-year pack. Oh, it's for 14 years. That makes I get it now. 14 years, 500 mil. Okay, but how much is that? Hold on, let me see. Pocket watch alert. Where we at? Okay, 500 for 14 years. 14? Yeah, 14 years. So he getting 35? He getting 35.7 a year for 14 years? Bro, that's crazy. I'm not gonna lie. That's still crazy. Noting that those seemingly overzealous comparisons to Miguel Cabrera has aged surprisingly well. And here's what we wrote about Guerrero's expected deal. Guerrero will be fascinating case study. The public estimates about his next deal are at the odds with history on how the front office views his general profile. Right-handed first baseman, to wit, Pete Alonso's $27 million, the richest ever for a free agent first baseman. Guerrero will make more, $28.5 million in this final. Archie, Roy, hold on. I know this word. I do sports. Archibition. Arbitrage. B-Lou. I need B-Lou. We gotta have B-Lou to come over here for the reading test. I failed the reading test. I ain't gonna lie. My bad, gang. I'll tighten up. On top of his skill set and age, his distinction as the closest thing to an elite hitter the market will feature for a few years ought to work in his favor. I assume he'll become the seventh free agent hitter to clear the 35 million AAV, and he might even soar higher than that. From now on, I'll the conversation, the conservative side. Prediction, 12 years, 456 million. Oh my gosh. As it turns out, our average annual value guess was almost on the nose. Guerrero will make $36 million a year. Oh my gosh. I'll bet over 2 additional seasons than predicted. Fair enough. Be that as it may be, some reading might wonder why the Blue Jays would be so eager to commit $500 million, $500 million, or what amounts to the second largest contract in sports history and present value, to a right-handed first baseman. With that in mind, let's address three particular factors that work in our mind in Guerrero's favor. Offensive excellence. Guerrero, by virtue of being a landlocked first baseman, is limited in how much he contributes defensive, positional, and base running value. At the same time, let's face the facts. Guerrero is a tremendous offensive player. He has a fast bat, he controls the barrel, and he has a big time strength that gives him the power to all fields. I know his daddy looking like, boy, if you get 500 mil, I could have got me 2 billion. Oh my gosh. All right. Despite the sluggish start to the year, he has hit 145 OPS plus dating back to 2021. For some perspective on these matters, let's revisit those aforementioned comparisons to Cabrera. Check out the marks through their age 26 season. Do note Guerrero remains in the midst of this, so the numbers will change soon and often. All right. So 31 home runs in every 162 games versus Cabrera's 33. OPS 137 compared to Cabrera's 141. And then WAR 4.2 compared to Cabrera's 4.1. Cabrera is a former 12-time All-Star and future Hall of Famer with more than 3,000 hits and 500 home runs to his credit. Predictably, Guerrero matching such a player almost step for step means that Guerrero himself is an elite hitter. It will be perfectly fair to describe him as one of the 10 best hitters going, even if it wouldn't necessarily rank him that high as an overall contributor. Brand value. Ball players are primarily viewed through the lens of their on-field contributions, but their actual value to an organization goes beyond what they do between the lines. They are soft factors that are too overlooked or ignored, yet that undeniably exist all at the same. You don't have to take our word for it. Just consider the Blue Jays president, Mark Shapiro, himself seldom someone calls a victim to the sentiment, recently said on the matter. In every other case, I would say the only thing that actually sells tickets in hundreds and thousands is winning, Shapiro said in the late spring training after Guerrero's self-imposed deadline had passed. There are players who have magnetic personalities like Vlad who amplify winning and can really help, but fans don't come to see great players on losing teams. We need to win to have fans come in to have the largest numbers possible. Vlad is a part of helping us win, and he's a player that has a chance to be a very special player for a generation of Blue Jays fans. You can argue Shapiro's declaration or with Guerrero's actual appeal, fine. But the logic is easy enough to understand. Guerrero's a homegrown player and a native Canadian who happens to be the son of a very popular Montreal Expos star. If you are designing the perfect face of the franchise for the specific Blue Jays organization, you will probably come up with something like Guerrero. And that helps us explain why Toronto might place a premium on keeping him in place for the duration of his career. Dancy Swanson. If you pay attention to the last few off seasons, you'll note that the Blue Jays finishing second on top free agents has developed into a trope. They came up short on Shohei Ohtani, Rakesh Sasakai. Excuse me on that pronunciation. I definitely got that wrong. And to many others reasonably on the list as well. Blame it on players not wanting to move across the United States border, the exchange rate, the organization's competitive state, or whatever else you want. The Blue Jays have, for whatever reason, found it tough to get anyone to take their money. That dynamic alone would be enough to alter the Blue Jays' opportunity cost. But there's another factor worth considering: the upcoming free agent markets. We've become spoiled in the last few winters with one superstar after another reaching free agency. Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, Juan Soto. Hopefully everyone savored it because we're not going to experience that kind of run anytime soon. With the acknowledgement that pro sports are unpredictable and things happen a lot, it looks like Baltimore Orioles star Gunnar Henderson could be the next premier free agent. He's not slated to hit the open market until, the winter of 2028. Put yourself up in a quarter zip and khaki pants of the Blue Jays' top executives. You have ownership's consent to make a splash, but you know that, one, you can keep up coming short on marquee free agents, and number two, the number of defensive top targets will be sparse for the next few winters. Can you see why you'd be willing to go big, really big, to keep your homegrown second-generation star in place? Of course, understanding why the Blue Jays made this deal isn't necessarily the same as thinking it's a great deal. This may prove to be a misstep in the long run. Lord knows there's an extreme amount of uncertainty in a 14-year deal, especially at this point in history. It does, nevertheless, make for an interesting agreement that will cement multiple legacies one way or another. Salute to Vlad Jr., man. Get paid, young brother. Get paid. My goodness. 500 mil, 14 years. He's locked in. And to wrap things up today, we are going to go to
that steps for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff, but
and Rashad Milligan rolling out.
That's a good question.
We can't ask Rashad questions.
Hey, Rashad.